So a massive good evening. My name is Katharine Waller. I'm Managing Director for Dacxi in the UK and Ireland. And this evening's presentation is Crypto for Beginners. So we are quite well known for this presentation, which is intended to be for people that have perhaps know a little bit about Bitcoin, have perhaps heard about Bitcoin and Ethereum, and are just looking to learn a little bit more. So let me just share my screen. Press that button there. I press that. Hopefully that will work. So can I just have a thumbs up if you can see my screen, please? Very good. Thank you very much for those that just did. That's really helpful. So let me just do that. So a quick disclaimer, the information I'll be giving you this evening is not investment advice, financial advice, or trading advice. Rather, it's education, information, and inspiration. So hopefully if you found this recording or you're listening live, you'll be aware that Dacxi is a crypto exchange. So we are one of the ways that you can purchase crypto. So the analogy that I typically make is that we do exactly what a travel money company does. If I want money to go on holiday, I go up to my lovely lady at the supermarket, get myself some euros, some dollars, or some Emirati dirham. We do exactly the same thing, but we just do it with crypto. So I suppose really the difference between what we do and most of the other exchanges is that we are very focused on people who are looking to hold crypto to build their wealth. And we also are very focused on education. So crypto can actually be quite difficult to get into. We know that most people purchase crypto on recommendation or referral from a friend or a colleague. But if you Google it, you can disappear down a black hole pretty quickly. So the idea is that we put out lots of educational content. It's not a sales pitch. We don't try and lecture people. We don't give them PhD economics facts. We really just try and make sure it's very accessible and fairly lighthearted. So for listening live, there's a chat function, which you'll find at the bottom is a big chat button. So do feel free to say hi and where you're listening from. Lots of people on this evening's call, which is live. And if you've got any questions or any comments or anything that I'm saying resonates with you, please do feel free to just put a note in the chat function. And of course, if the questions come up that don't fit into what I'm saying, of course, I will address them at the end. So always worth writing them down just so you don't forget them when I stop speaking. So I'm going to talk for about 20 minutes or so. I hope that's okay. That will give lots of time for Q&A at the end. So in this presentation, we're going to cover the basics of crypto, what it is, how it works, lots of misconceptions, lots of weird stuff on the internet. So hopefully we'll separate some of the fact from the fiction. How people are making money out of crypto today, what to avoid, keeping yourself safe. Obviously, there are some companies which are less than reputable. Where we're currently at in the investment cycle, crypto has done very well. The last couple of weeks had a fantastic 2020. So I'll talk about what's happening right now. We do get asked as a business for an awful lot of press commentary on what's happening, why people are buying crypto, where the prices are going. I personally write most of that press coverage myself. And finally, how you can get involved if that is something of interest to you. So I just want to tell you a bit about my background in crypto and why hopefully I am well placed to give you some interesting content this evening. I've recently got a book on Amazon. If you want a copy, we've got lots of copies knocking around in the office, so don't feel you need to spend 27 quid on one. So I contributed to the Book of Money and Finance. So they wrote a chapter about crypto, which they came to Dacxi to write, which is a huge compliment. And I personally wrote that chapter. I've been nominated for awards. I was nominated for a Wirex Women in Crypto Power List, mostly off the back of my work with a online meetup called Women Who Crypto. So Dacxi holds the largest online meeting of women interested in crypto. So men welcome to. We do that event typically every month, so well worth being part of. I spend a lot of time writing for the press. So these are just some of the publications that I wrote for last year about crypto. So I write a lot about crypto, what's going on, who's buying it, what I think the future will hold. I also write about women's wealth. It's a topic that I'm very passionate about. How crypto can build wealth. Frankly, it's outperformed everything else available right now. So we're often asked to contribute, which is a huge compliment. I've also got a blog, which again is franchised in a number of different publications, which is about crypto, wealth, the financial world we find ourselves in, particularly now we've had COVID. And I also have a board position on the trade body, the UK trade body, which is called Crypto UK. So hopefully I'm well placed to tell you a bit about crypto this evening. So I want to talk about what's going on right now. I don't want to talk about COVID or coronavirus. It's really quite depressing. Of course, we're on lockdown right now in the UK, our third lockdown. I've worked for Dacxi for nearly a year, and I think we've been locked down for about 9 months of that. So look, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about what's going on in our economy. So really no question that we are looking down the lens of an epic recession. And of course, lots of people in lots of pain, whether they're furloughed or made redundant, obviously not good news for anyone. So sorry, this slide has slightly cut itself off, but the coronavirus, we estimate, has caused about 9 trillion to be knocked off stocks and shares worldwide. And in 2020, we saw 14% knocked off our FTSE 100. So the FTSE 100 is the value of our top 100 traded companies, and often seen as a health check for the UK economy. And many of our pensions and savings products are, of course, based on it. So the other thing, of course, is that we've got some very record low interest rates. So our very own Bank of England sets the base rate in the UK, and we have the lowest base rate on record. So in the couple of 100 years that we've existed as the Bank of England, it's the lowest rate ever. So obviously dreadful news to people that have cash in the bank that are looking for good savings rates. This is some research I did last year. And generally, if you want access to your account, you're looking at around 1% interest on your money. So it's my personal opinion, and I've put it in a number of publications recently. It's my opinion that we will see negative interest rates in the UK in the near future, which of course means that you'll be writing a check for the bank in order to store your cash in the bank, which is mind-boggling. So of course, lots of people in the UK have traditionally relied on property. I personally am a property investor. My background before I got involved in crypto, this is my third blockchain business, but my background originally, professionally and as an investor, is from property. I put out a lot of content for property investors that are now diversifying into crypto. And I think in the UK, we've enjoyed some really good times over an extended period. Prices pretty much doubled every 7 years until we hit that general financial crash in 2008. And we saw there was a bit of recovery, but really some of that growth has leveled off. And of course, in the last couple of years, that's pretty much stagnated. And of course, as we see that coronavirus recession hit, loads of people are furloughed, the government's picking up the bill, that's likely to get worse. So my opinion is, certainly as a buy-to-let investor personally, I've certainly seen the yields drop. Right now, I'm actually liquidating a number of my buy-to-lets to redivert that money into crypto. And this is why. So these are the growth figures for last year. So last year, crypto outperformed every other asset class available. So depending whether you like seeing numbers or you like graphs. Bitcoin, which is probably the poster child for crypto, went up 270%. Ethereum went up 450%. Our community coin, the Dacxi coin, went up 27%, and Litecoin went up 191%. And by contrast, the FTSE went down around 15%. So for lots of people that are purchasing crypto in the UK, typically they would be a slightly older crowd. Most of our platform users are kind of 38 to 65. Most of them have seen recession before and are just looking to diversify. And for reasons of the performance of crypto in recent months and years, are looking to switch some of their cash to crypto. So just by reason of, I suppose, comparison, I have a Halifax current account. I've held that account for 22 years now. So I obviously have cash in my Halifax account, and I've obviously bought crypto over the last couple of years. But just by way of comparison, it would take me over 500 years to make in a year out of my current account with Halifax what I made out of Bitcoin last year. And they're not comparable. There's obviously a very different risk profile for both. But for that reason, many people are looking to switch some of their cash to crypto. So I want to just talk very briefly about what crypto is. I think lots of people can get a bit sidetracked on how it works and what it does. So blockchain is a word that you'll often hear related to crypto. So this is the Forbes list. So the Forbes list is companies that are actively using blockchain. So blockchain is mute whoever's just joined us because they've got a bit of echo. So blockchain is the foundation for crypto. It's very simply a new type of database. So historically, a database was held in one place. If you wanted information, you would ping it. With blockchain, the information is held across the users. And sometimes you'll see that referred to as distributed ledger technology. So you'll see that deployed in a number of industries, household names, whether it's logistics, health tech, agriculture, energy, loads of different companies using it. So very well accepted technology. And for me personally, I've worked across 3 different businesses that are blockchain based. So I just want to talk about some of the people that are on board with crypto. And I think if you're new to crypto, it can be very easy to ask the question, is it real? If I purchase some crypto, what will it do? And where could I, in the fullness of time, spend it? So for me, that's really a story of adoption. I'm going to show you a graph about adoption and how that relates to prices in a couple of slides' time. But hopefully you've heard of some of these companies. They're some of the biggest businesses in the world. So I think really it's just a story about a technology which is coming to triumph. One of the analogies that's often used is about smartphones. 20 years ago, no one had a smartphone. Now every single person's got one, and it's like an 800 quid gadget. So you're often talking about crypto as having an iPhone moment. So really that point of adoption where it's got so much momentum, it can't be stopped. And there's some really good examples of that, particularly from the payment companies. So MasterCard has crypto wallet projects that actually hold 80 patents in blockchain technology. Visa holds 24 patents in blockchain, and you can actually pay in crypto with a relationship between Visa and Coinbase. And Visa's investing in a number of crypto startups, and they're very focused on bridging that gap between crypto platforms and actually being able to spend it. So Visa's got 61 million merchants and is used by 1 billion people. They're very focused on that. And they also provide quite a lot of guidance to global policymakers, including the World Economic Forum, in assisting on policy recommendations around central bank digital currencies, which we'll talk about. PayPal last summer obviously started making crypto available. They made a very small list of cryptos available, which was Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum, which we'll talk about which cryptos are good in a couple of slides' time. And actually, the announcement from PayPal was actually held to be responsible for a lot of growth over the late summer and early autumn. So you'll also see some of the world's biggest retail businesses backing crypto, I suppose, for want of a better word. So eBay's senior vice president, as early as 2019, said they want to accept Bitcoin. Amazon is already working with blockchain. It's rumored they'll start accepting Bitcoin in the near future. And you can actually today spend crypto at Amazon, Starbucks, and Uber. So for the people that are purchasing crypto through our platform, they're not looking to spend it in the near future. They don't want to go and buy a coffee with it. They're just looking for that capital growth as a result of the audience for crypto growing, which of course is great for prices. The other thing you'll hear talked about a lot is something called central bank digital currencies, which is a very posh way of saying that we will stop having physical money and have a lot more of it purely digitized. So the vast majority of central banks are looking to do that, including our Bank of England. So the World Economic Forum reports that about 80% of the world's banks will be digitizing their currencies. So it's highly likely in the near future, even if you're not using crypto day in, day out, you will be using this technology, perhaps even without knowing about it. The other thing you'll see is a lot of banks, asset managers, and hedge funds talking very actively about crypto. The main reason for that is crypto is a cheaper, faster way of moving wealth and value around. So of course, the banks are all very interested in that. And I think it's been a very interesting journey. I've worked in crypto for a couple of years now. And a couple of years ago, the banks were saying, absolutely not, very bad idea, we're not going to be involved in this. And slowly and surely over the last sort of 12 to 18 months, a lot of them are coming to the table. So some good examples of that. BlackRock is the world's largest asset manager, and they've got $7 trillion under management. Their chief investment officer has praised Bitcoin recently. DTCC is a company you've probably not heard of, but it's actually the highest by value financial processor in the world. They use blockchain. You'll also see a lot of the really big hedge funds now using it, particularly as a way of protecting themselves against future inflation. So a good example of that is Renaissance Technologies. There's some really big asset managers and hedge funds now buying a proportion of their assets into crypto. And you'll just see really a lot more of the big institutional investors coming to the table. We'll talk about what that does for prices. So really last summer was pretty much the turning point. And a lot of those big players that were sort of traditionally very negative started sort of changing their tune. So a great example is Goldman Sachs, beginning in the summer, put out a call to their investors and said, absolutely not, crypto is not an asset class. And by the end of the summer, they'd hired a new global head of digital assets, and were talking about their own coin. And there's actually a survey by Fidelity, which is quite a famous asset manager, which estimates that about 1/3 of institutional investors globally have exposed themselves to crypto. So really just a story where I think, to start with, crypto was quite niche. It was a lot of individuals in back bedrooms getting involved. And now we see a lot more of those institutions, which of course is driving the price. So where are we now? I want to talk about what we see in terms of that growth. So this graph on the left we've been using for definitely a couple of years at Dacxi. So you'll see that those prices were quite low. So in 2019, you had the opportunity to buy the cryptos at a pretty low price. Over 2020, we expect to see a lot of growth. To give you an idea, a lot of the city analysis around Bitcoin is that you'll see between a 3 and a 10-fold increase. Obviously, those estimates vary a little bit. And if you look at the graph on the right, that is a year's graph for Bitcoin. So you'll see that, of course, you could have had some really great growth. You could have purchased under 10,000 sterling last year. And of course, we saw prices top 30,000 in the last couple of weeks. So a great story for all the platform users at Dacxi that are already involved. And of course, a lot of projections that that growth should be strong over the rest of 2021. And look, it really does follow a very classic curve of adoption. So obviously as adoption grows, prices grow. And I think particularly for Bitcoin, the fact it's got a fixed supply obviously means that prices go one way. So I'll just show you some data on a log scale. I'm sorry, this is slightly out of date. This is from last year. So I think it's worth saying that you do see volatility in those crypto markets. Of course, we have seen highs followed by corrections. In fact, we had one which started as we were all asleep last night. But you'll notice that after each correction, it goes on to a higher high. And if you look at the daily volumes, this is just some data that I've pulled together. In the last 24 hours, 81 billion pounds worth of Bitcoin has been bought and sold. So it's a very popular market. And look, each of those growth spurts has delivered 1,000% growth followed by a correction. So it's our opinion that we have another substantial price increase coming, and that will be primarily based on the institutional investors. So I just want to talk about what cryptos Dacxi is focused on. You might be surprised to know there's over 8,000 cryptos currently available. So obviously that is a very confusing list of cryptos that you need to understand. So Dacxi as a business is very positive about a short list, which is what we call the blue chip cryptos of Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. Those are the cryptos which we believe have a solid use case. Use case simply means what they can be used for and how big that potential market is. So again, you can see the massive trading volumes per day. It's a very liquid and very popular market. And just be aware that those top 3 coins are the ones that the institutions show interest in. And more importantly, they make up the majority of the marketplace. So for over 8,000 cryptos, those top 3 are typically 70% of all traded volume. So I'll just say that one more time. There's 8,000 of them, and yet only a very small number make up around 70% of that traded volume. So it's our opinion as a business, and my opinion personally, that in the short period of time in front of us, you'll see a lot of consolidation in that marketplace. So it's highly likely that that big long list of cryptos just won't be needed in the fullness of time. So a quick introduction to what Dacxi does. We're a digital asset exchange. So it's one of the ways that you can purchase crypto. You can exchange your British pounds or other currencies into crypto. We are very much a retail specific exchange. So typically our customers are not trading. They're not buying and selling on a daily basis. They're looking to hold for the short to medium term. We designed our platform in-house. I'll show you some screenshots, but we've tried to make it as user-friendly as possible. It looks very much like an online banking app. We're licensed in Europe. We're under the FCA in the UK, where we have an office, and we are planning to list on the London Stock Exchange in the near future. And we also believe we have the largest number of customer services per user of any crypto platform. We do pride ourselves on making sure that our customers great service from us and actually get human beings to interact with rather than just robots. The other thing which is very key to understand if you're looking to store your assets online is the security rating. If, like me, you're old enough to remember online banking and phone banking coming in, obviously there's a number of concerns around security. One of the ways you can check how secure any website is, any banking app, any crypto business, is to check the independent security rating, which is provided by Mozilla Observatory. So actually, this is an American website, so I did it about half an hour before we started broadcasting. But you can check that any time of day or night. It's a free service, and we actually rate A+. So there's many UK banking apps which rate anywhere between a D and an F. Some of our internet first banks like Starling rate a little bit higher, but obviously there is no higher rating than A+, so we're very proud of the security that we have. So Dacxi has 3 separate programs which are all popular in different ways. The first one is our blue chip bundle that exists to provide diversification across a number of coins. So for all of our customers, they purchase crypto in their own name or in a company name. We don't trade our customers' crypto. We are not a fund. We're not derivatives. We purely allow them to buy crypto in their own account. So the blue chip bundle is split to provide diversification, which is 50% Bitcoin, 20% Ethereum, 10% Litecoin, and 20% Dacxi coin, with an extra 10% as a little bonus. And interestingly enough, we look at that selection of cryptos every couple of months just to make sure it's a good selection, and we stress test, and actually that selection has dramatically outperformed a pure Bitcoin purchase. We also have a precious metals product that's primarily designed for wealth preservation. So again, the precious metals have done very well over COVID. That is split between gold, silver, platinum, and the Dacxi coin. And also we have our own community coin, which has done phenomenally well over the last couple of years. That, in fact, has outperformed the other cryptos. So again, if people want maximum capital growth, we have our own coin, which we shortly listed on an external exchange in this quarter, which we're very excited about. So the crypto products have an £100 entry level, and the precious metals start at £200. So definitely talk to whoever introduced you to Dacxi to discuss those. So we have a very simple buying process. As I mentioned, we're under the FCA in the UK for what's called KYC and AML, which stands for Know Your Client and Anti-Money Laundering. That's something you can do from home. So we require a photographic ID like a passport or a driving license, which you can just photograph on your phone, and proof of address, which is within 3 months old. Once you've passed the verification process, you can fund your account and purchase crypto. This is just a screenshot of what the platform looks like. So super light touch, and we get loads of compliments about how easy it is to navigate. So next steps, we try and keep these presentations quite short. So next steps, if you enjoyed this presentation, do engage with learning. We have loads of resources, whether it's our webinars, ebooks, loads of content on our website. We have a very active social media channel, all of course free. So do feel free to take advantage of that. If you go on our website, there's a big Learn tab, which you can find loads of information on. We hold loads of events. If you go to our website, again, you'll find all of those events listed. Or, of course, talk to the person that introduced you to Dacxi. So I'll stop sharing, and I will stop recording